What is popping, gang? Welcome back to episode 1 of the Nutty Nonsense podcast with your boy Chester Peanut. Today I'm going to be getting interviewed by Cohen Williams. Cohen, kick it off.
Yo, I'm gonna be giving your boy Chester Peanut 4 interview questions to answer. The first one is, which rivalry in the 2025 playoffs has delivered the most drama?
Oh, that's a very good question. Now, I'm just going to take a quick look at the 25 playoff bracket. Personally, I think the Winnipeg and St. Louis rivalry has delivered the most drama this season.
Why do you say that, Chester?
Well, of course, Game 7 in the Stanley Cup playoffs when St. Louis had to come back from Winnipeg was definitely interesting to see.
Yeah. And also, how do you feel about Cole Perfetti's performance to tie the game up with 1.5 seconds left in the game?
Well, it was definitely something of a goal. Just the sheer amount of pressure faced with an empty. Did they pull their goalie?
They did.
Okay.
They did, gang.
Having an empty net scoring a goal like that must have been something of a show to put on for the crowd over in St. Louis.
And the Winnipeg whiteout, you know how it's been. Each of these goalies are 3-0 at home. Bennington has won 3 games in St. Louis. Hellebuck has won 3 games in Winnipeg.
Well, I can definitely say something. Bennington definitely put on a good performance this season in the playoffs, but I can't say the same for Hellebuck. It's honestly a miracle that they made it past. If Hellebuck was able to put off a half-decent performance, they would have swept St. Louis.
Yep. Going in question 2. Are we witnessing a new birth of a new playoff rivalry this year?
I wouldn't say the birth of a new one, but something that we haven't seen in a while is, I think, Edmonton against LA has definitely been something as of a rivalry throughout the years. The fact that the 4th year in a row we're playing them, and the 4th year in a row the Edmonton Oilers beat LA has been something.
How do you feel about LA taking a commanding 2-0 series lead and hitting that team photo in the locker room after game 2?
Well, personally, I believe that the Edmonton Oilers definitely struggle most in early games in the series. But as we can see, they can pull through quite a show.
How do you feel about Calvin Pickett's performance in those last 4 games of the series, so games 3 to 6?
I'm just going to say this now. Calvin Pickard is the GOAT, and Calvin Pickard is the reason that we won this last series.
Yep. The Oilers, they were commanding at home, and then when they brought it back to LA, how do you feel about those fans after game 2 yelling at McDavid to bring Skinner back?
Well, we don't have to worry about that because Skinner ain't coming back.
That's fair. Okay, and one last thing for this question. How do you feel about Connor Brown's performance? With
Connor,
Trent Frederick, Corey Perry in Game 6 when they had a combined of 4 points each?
Well, I think we can all agree that Connor Brown is the best NHL player to ever live. And Connor Brown is amazing.
Okay, the third last question. Who looks like the most complete team in the playoffs right now? And who are the clear Stanley Cup favorites?
You know, I'm going to have to say Toronto has a pretty good chance of making it further than Eastern Conference Final. I think Toronto's going to make it all the way to the finals. If they win, that's another story.
Okay. If you could have any teams in the finals, who would they be this year?
Any teams in the finals? I'm going to go with Toronto against Edmonton in the finals.
Ooh.
And then Edmonton is going to pull through in Game 7 double overtime.
How do you feel about Austin Matthews not really performing in that first couple rounds?
Well, I can say I found it quite surprising because he's been doing pretty well this season. So I thought he was going to be more of a leader in the series, but it was definitely something surprising to watch.
How do you feel about the New Jersey Devils in round one supposing to beat Carolina, but Jack Hughes getting that season-ending injury and practically just ending New Jersey's year? How do you feel about that?
I was surprised about that, but I think Colorado, or not Colorado, Carolina is a very put together team and definitely had deserving when it came to winning that series. What do you think about the performance New Jersey put up?
In my NHL bracket challenge this year, I put up I got that series exactly correct. I said Carolina in 5 because I felt like New Jersey had a chance of winning at least one game in the series. But I knew that Carolina, because, yeah, they have such a put together team and they're built for the playoffs with some veterans who've been in this situation before. But New Jersey, because they're practically just a younger team, they don't have really that much playoff experience except those couple years where they made it and then got obliterated.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a couple minutes left in this podcast. So, and I have one last question. What team has had the best chance of moving out of round one but losing in round one?
Losing? What do you mean?
I mean, which team had the better shot of moving on to round two but losing in round one?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm. I think so far. I think the first round of all of the series had kind of gone how I predicted, but I think the team that I thought would have put up a better chance probably was going to be the Lightning. I thought they would have put up a better fight against Florida, but of course, Florida being the defending champions, I don't know. I just thought that the Lightning could have made it a little, maybe to the second round.
And also the Tampa Bay Lightning, one of the best goalies in the league, one of the best defensemen in the league,
Yeah.
and then a put together solid forward core, and losing in 5, which is actually surprising. And I don't know how they performed like that. Like Kucherov, MVP last year in the league. I don't get it. They
Yeah.
really should have won that because Florida, they're all right put together, but I feel like Tampa has the more veteran team, who's been there before and feel like who should have made it out.
Yeah. Now, Cohen, since it looks like you're done your questions and we got a couple of minutes left, I just wanted to quickly show you my bracket challenge and get your opinion on it
Okay.
for the viewers over here. Okay, let's head over to my bracket. Okay, now let's just cover the first round. The first round I predict for the first round um in the first round of the series, I predicted Winnipeg would win, which I was correct, and then Dallas would win, correct, Vegas, and then Edmonton. And then on the other side, I predicted Toronto, Florida, and
Carolina.
Washington and Carolina. So far, I've gotten all of the series correct. But how do you think the rest of it's going for me?
I feel like the first round you had a solid performance, and going into rounds 2, 3, and the Cup final, you have put together Winnipeg, Dallas, Vegas, Edmonton, Toronto, Florida, and Washington, Carolina, and you put up the Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers, and then in the Eastern Conference, the Florida Panthers and the Washington Capitals, which is pretty solid.
So for my conference finals on both sides, do you think those are accurate?
Pretty accurate. I would say depends if Toronto Anthony Stolarz comes back from that vicious hit by Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
If he comes back and everybody plays together, I feel like the Leafs can upset the Panthers.
Mm-hmm. I think, yeah, I can agree. I think what I would change in this is I think I would predict Toronto winning against Florida. That's one mistake that I think I
And then who do you got in the cup final?
Cup final, I got none other than Edmonton and Florida rematch. But I've kind of grown to believe that's not going to happen. But I think it's either going to be Florida or Toronto moving on to the finals. One of those two teams.
Okay, this is a pretty solid bracket. Well, I think our time is up for this one. So
We'll see you in episode 2 of the Nutty Nonsense podcast with
I'm
Chester
Cohen.
Peanut.
And I'm Cohen.
Peace.
Peace.